So I have this file of simple.php and I'm going to save this file as form validation project.php. Now I'm going to add here a simple HTML form. So I have added this simple HTML form here. And now first let me show you what it gonna look like in the browser. Saving this one out. We have this simple form: name, email, gender, website, and comment. And I have put this static against the field which we are going to say will be necessary in our form. So this email, name, gender, and website field will be necessary in our form project. Moving back to editor. And here I have this submit button name for submit. We have this name of website for our website field. We have name of for gender for our gender field. We have name of our email. We have name of our name field. And here is our simple static. Now in this case we are going to work on the same file of PHP and HTML in one unit. So I'm going to add here form validation project.php. And we are going to add all the functionality on this submit your information button. So first of all, we need to focus on it, and every single code is going to be placed on this condition for our submit button. So moving back to editor, on the top I'm going to add PHP code right here. So on clicking on our submit button, we need to define couple of functions and statements. So I can say if our submit button is set, then we need to define couple of function in our submit button scope. So first of all, I'm going to grab this name field. So I have to define the same condition for our name field, and we don't want our name field to be empty. So I can say if our name field is empty, then you can say name is required, and I'm going to put this name is required in one simple variable string, and I'm gonna call it name error. And else we can say name is equal to one function test user input. You can choose any kind of function name, and I'm going to pass our data of this name that we are going to receive through our form. So we don't have this function of test user input at the moment, so we need to define this function outside of our submit button. So I'm gonna define one function here, and I'm gonna call it test user input, and in which I'm going to pass one variable with the name of data. So you can write statement for your one field, but it's better to write one function and use it for all the fields of name, email, gender, and website, so that we don't have to add many statements in our code. So in this simple function, I'm just going to return our data that we are going to receive from the user, nothing special. So on clicking on the submit button, it going to check whether our name that is going to send by the user is empty or not. If it's empty, then it's going to create one variable with the name of name error, and it's gonna say name is required. Else there will be new variable with the name, and in which we are going to call this simple function of test user input, in which we are going to pass our name. And in the function of test user input, we are just receiving our data and returning our data, so that we don't have to create statement for every single field of name, email, gender, and website. But first time when the page is going to load, we don't have to show this text name is required. That's why I'm going to place this variable at the beginning, and I'm going to give it value of empty string, so that on first page load it's not going to appear this name is required in our form. So let's save this and move back to browser, refreshing the page. So if I try to submit our form, nothing is showing. There is no sign of text here. Why? Because we haven't added our name error, this name error, in our HTML. So we need to add this name error in HTML to see the string of error. So let's scroll down to our name field. Here we have this field of name, and in which I'm going to add right after static one PHP statement, and I'm going to say echo what? Echo our name error. Now let's save this, refreshing the page. Now if we submit our form, now we have name is required. So it's working perfect. So in case of this name field empty, we are going to have this pop-up that name is required. And if I try to enter some name like Jazib, submit, we are not getting any kind of error. So using this technique, we are going to add couple of constraint on our every single field of name, email, gender, and website. So if the name is empty, we are going to have this name is required through our HTML echo statement, and else it's just going to take our data and put it in the new variable of name here. So we need the same function for our other variable as well. So inside our scope of isSetSubmit, I'm just going to copy this statement and paste it right after the scope of our else statement. And now this time I'm going to change it for the email, and we are going to say that our email is required, and I'm gonna make this error to be email error, and this variable to be email as well, and data to be email as well. One more thing, I have to define the default value for our email error, and here I'm going to say email error is equal to empty string. We don't have to do anything in here, because that's the importance of function, to define it one time so that you don't have to write it many statement. So if I save this one out, refresh the page again, submit our form, we are having here, because we haven't added the same kind of thing in our HTML part. So in the email field, right after static, I'm going to add one PHP scope, and I'm going to echo same, this time what? Email error. Saving this one out. See, now we have name is required, email is required. So in case of gender, I'm going to copy the statement again and paste it inside our submit button if scope, and now this time I'm going to change it for gender, changing the error to be gender error, here too, here as well. We need to add default gender error variable to be empty. Now in the HTML scope, In the gender part, we need to add gender arrow echo here. Saving this one out, refreshing the page here. Now I'm going to do the same thing for our website as well. Copy the statement if and else, paste it right after it, changing it for our website, and I'm changing it for according to our field of our website, and this field of website has the name of website. That's why I'm putting website here. So be sure while you are coding that you are putting the right name in your field post address. Website this time, website error, new variable of website, and here too. Now the default variable of website error, saving this one out. Now adding the echo statement in our website right after static, changing it for website error, saving this one out, refreshing the page. Now we have name is required, email is required, gender is required, website is required. And if I add some name of KK, email of IOP, female, website to be FG, submit, no problem, because we haven't added any kind of regular expressions and constraint on these fields. So our code is working perfect. Now for the comment part, I'm not going to add the restriction on this comment part. So we are going to make it optional in our validation project.